The sky above Earth tore open without warning. A fleet of alien ships slid out of hyperspace, silent and perfect, like blades cutting through space itself. For a moment they believed they had arrived at a dead world. That was what their record said Earth would be after 30,000 years, cold, empty, forgotten. But the moment their sensors locked onto the planet, every system inside the lead ship screamed at once. Impossible, one of the alien officers whispered, stepping back from the glowing screen. The readings did not make sense. Atmosphere stable. Oceans moving. Energy flowing through the crust like veins. But there was something else, something alive in a way no science could define. Then one of their orbital drones dropped toward the surface to investigate. It never sent a signal back. Instead it vanished. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. The entire bridge fell silent. Commander Elias Varn stood alone inside a deep underground chamber far below the surface. The room was dim, lit by soft blue lines running through ancient metal walls. He did not look surprised. He had been waiting. A large circular monitor in front of him showed the alien fleet hovering above Earth like predators unsure of their prey. Behind him, something moved in the dark. Not a machine. Not an animal. Something between both. Elias raised his hand slightly. "Containment status?" he asked calmly. A soft voice answered from the walls itself, like the planet breathing. Stable, but reacting. Elias closed his eyes for a brief moment. There was no fear in him, only pressure. Like a man holding back a storm with bare hands. Above him, the aliens launched a second drone. This one carried weapons and scanners. It moved faster, more aggressive. The moment it crossed Earth's upper atmosphere, it stopped. Not slowed. Stopped. Like time itself had grabbed it. Inside the alien ship, alarms exploded again. The drone's feed turned into static, then into something worse. Patterns that looked almost like a face forming from noise. One alien screamed and ripped the headset off. "It's alive down there," he shouted. On Earth, deep beneath oceans and mountains, something shifted. Elias opened his eyes. "They are early," he said quietly. He turned and walked toward a thick metal door. It opened without him touching it. Inside was a control platform older than any known civilization. It was not built. It had grown into the rock like roots of a giant buried tree. As he stepped in, the entire planet responded faintly. A low vibration spread through the ground, felt but not heard. Above the surface, the alien fleet noticed it too. Their ships began to drift slightly off course, as if gravity itself had changed its mind. "What is this field?" the alien commander demanded. "No known system matches it," another replied. "It is not technology. It is behavior." That word made the room colder. Behavior implied choice. On the surface, a crack opened in the ground of an empty desert. It was small at first. Then it widened slowly, like something breathing beneath the soil. From it rose a structure. Not metal. Not stone. Something alive. It unfolded upward, shifting shapes that defied geometry. The alien sensors went blind for a second. Then the structure locked onto their ships. Every screen inside the fleet displayed the same message, translated instantly into their language. "You were not meant to come back." Silence spread like ice. The alien commander stepped forward. "Who sends this?" he demanded. No answer came from space. But far below, Elias Varn spoke softly to the planet itself. "They will not listen," he said. The ground beneath the alien landing zone trembled. Something massive moved under it, like a sleeping giant turning in its sleep. A shadow rose beneath the soil, larger than mountains, stretching across continents. The air above Earth grew heavy, as if the world itself was holding its breath. On the alien flagship, weapon systems began to power up automatically. "Target the surface," the commander ordered, voice sharp with fear now. But before any shot was fired, every ship in the fleet received one more signal. It did not come from Earth's surface. It came from everywhere at once. A calm human voice, layered with thousands of others beneath it, said, "If you fire, you will wake what we became." The bridge lights flickered. And deep inside Earth, something opened its eyes. The alien fleet did not retreat. Instead, it tightened formation above Earth like a net closing around prey. Inside the flagship, fear had turned into control again. Officers shouted orders, stabilizing systems, locking weapons, forcing discipline over panic. They had seen strange things before in deep space. This was just another unknown problem. Or so they told themselves. On the surface, the alien landing craft descended. They hit the ground in a desert region where nothing lived, nothing moved, and nothing should have reacted. But Earth reacted anyway. The moment their boots touched the soil, the sand beneath them shifted like it was breathing. Fine grains flowed upward in slow motion, defying gravity for a second before falling again. One soldier looked down. "This ground is unstable," he said. Then the ground answered. A low pulse rolled under their feet like a heartbeat. Far above, Elias Varn stood inside the underground chamber, watching through layers of ancient systems. His face was still calm, but his eyes were sharper now. He understood what the aliens were doing. They were testing the surface. Testing meant escalation. "Surface contact confirmed," the alien commander said. "Begin full survey sweep." The landing team moved forward with heavy scanners. Bright beams of light cut through dust, mapping terrain. At first, everything looked normal. Rock, sand, heat signatures. Then the readings changed. Every scanner in their hands suddenly showed the same result. No empty ground. Massive life structure detected beneath them. Depth, unknown. Size, impossible. One soldier froze. This is not terrain." Before he could finish, the sand under him sank slightly, like something underneath had shifted its weight. A crack spread outward. Then another. The entire landing zone trembled. "Pull back," someone shouted. But it was too late. From beneath the desert, something rose. Not fast. Not violent. Slow. Certain. The ground lifted like skin being pushed from below. Massive shapes moved under it, too large to be buildings, too fluid to be machines. The desert itself became a wave. The alien team fired instantly. Energy bolts struck the surface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the sand absorbed the shots. Not reflected. Not blocked. Absorbed. Like the planet was drinking light. Inside the flagship, alarm screamed again. "What is that material?" an officer yelled. "It is adapting to energy impact." The alien commander leaned forward, eyes locked on the surface feed. "Push harder," he ordered. "Increase output." On the ground, one of the soldiers stumbled back as the desert rose higher. A shape was forming now, vast, curved, alive. It was not attacking. It was simply revealing itself. And then it stopped. Right in front of the alien team, the sand solidified into a smooth, dark surface. It reflected them like a mirror. But what it showed was not their own faces. It showed cities. Human cities. Not ruins. Not dead structures. Alive ones. Moving ones. One soldier whispered, "That's impossible." The reflection shifted again. Now it showed Earth's oceans glowing with faint blue patterns beneath the waves, like veins of light. Then the image stopped changing. And a voice came from it. Not loud. Not aggressive. Just certain. "You are standing on us." The alien team backed away instantly, weapons raised, panic-breaking discipline. Above them, Elias Varn closed his eyes for a second. "They are too close," he said softly. He raised his hand and touched a thin panel in front of him. The planet responded immediately. The desert beneath the aliens softened, not collapsing but moving like liquid under command. The soldiers were lifted slightly off balance as gravity shifted in a subtle wave. Inside the flagship, readings spiked again. "Gravitational distortion increasing," a scientist reported. "It is localized, but intentional." The alien commander's jaw tightened. This is technology. It must be. But no one answered with confidence anymore. On the surface, the alien soldiers tried to retreat, but the ground beneath them moved with them, not allowing escape or resistance. It was not trapping them in a violent way. It was guiding them. Like a warning. One soldier dropped his weapon in shock. "It's not attacking us," he said. "It's correcting us." At that exact moment, the entire landing zone went silent. Then everything stopped moving. The desert returned to stillness. The alien team stood frozen in place, breathing hard, unable to understand what just happened. Inside the flagship, a new signal appeared on every screen. Not from a drone. Not from a machine. From the planet itself. It showed a single human figure standing in darkness underground. Elias Varn. He spoke directly to them through the system without delay. "You are not the first to come back," he said. The alien commander stepped forward. "Who are you?" A pause followed. Then Elias answered. "I am what remained when humanity stopped being only human." For the first time, the alien fleet did not respond immediately. Because beneath their ships, Earth began to move again. The silence inside the alien flagship lasted longer than any silence they had ever known. No one spoke because speaking felt dangerous, like it might trigger something beneath their words. On every screen, the image of Elias Varn remained steady. A human standing in darkness, deep under a living planet. His eyes were calm but not distant. They carried weight, like someone who had seen the end of everything and chosen to stay anyway. The alien commander finally broke the silence. "Identify yourself," he said, voice controlled but tighter now. Elias did not answer immediately. Instead, the underground chamber around him shifted slightly, as if the walls were breathing with him. The planet itself seemed to be listening. Then he spoke. "I was part of the last generation before the silence event." The words meant nothing to the aliens at first, but the systems in their ship reacted instantly. Ancient records, buried in forgotten archives, surfaced on their screens without permission. The silence event. A catastrophe recorded in fragments across many species. Civilizations disappearing across multiple star systems at the same time. No war signatures. No natural cause. Just absence. The alien scientists leaned forward. "That is impossible," one whispered. "That event was 30,000 years ago." Elias nodded slowly, even though they could barely see it. "We survived it," he said. On the surface, the alien landing team was still frozen in place. Not physically restrained anymore, but psychologically overwhelmed. The ground beneath them no longer moved. It had settled, as if waiting for the next command. One soldier looked down at his hands. "They didn't kill us," he said quietly. "Why didn't they kill us?" No one answered. Because above them the answer was unfolding. Inside the flagship, Elias's image flickered slightly as new data streams activated. A hidden layer of Earth's systems had opened, and what the aliens saw next changed everything. It was not a structure, not a weapon. It was memory. Cities stretched across continents in impossible harmony. Oceans lit with networks of energy flowing like nerves. Mountains embedded with slow-moving organic machines that looked grown, not built. But the most disturbing part was not the scale. It was the presence. Human presence. Not individual humans. Collective human awareness embedded into the planet itself. A scientist choked on his breath. "They merged with planetary systems?" Elias heard it and answered. "Not merged," he said. "We adapted." A new image appeared on the alien screens. Humanity's last war. Not against aliens. Against extinction itself. The silence event had not destroyed Earth. It had spread like a dark wave through space, erasing entire civilizations without contact, without warning. Humanity had realized too late that it was not a war they could fight physically. So they changed the battlefield. They made Earth itself into a living sanctuary. A vessel. A mind. A shield. The alien commander clenched his fists. "You turned your planet into a weapon." Elias's expression did not change. "We turned it into survival." A deep vibration rolled through space again. But this time it was not aggression. It was awareness. Something far below Earth's crust was waking more fully now. The oceans shifted slightly. Magnetic fields adjusted. The planet was no longer just reacting to threats, it was evaluating them. On the surface, the alien soldiers suddenly felt a pressure in their minds. Not painful. Not invasive. Understanding. Images flashed through their thoughts without permission. Human hands building cities that grew like coral. Children speaking to machines that listen like friends. Entire generations dissolving into planetary systems willingly, not forced. One soldier dropped to his knees. "I can feel them," he whispered. "They are everywhere." Back on the flagship, the alien commander stepped closer to the display. "This is assimilation," he said. "You erased individuality." Elias finally showed emotion, just a small shift in his eyes like disappointment. "No," he replied. "We preserved it." The screens changed again. This time showing individual human minds still active inside the planetary network. Not lost. Not erased. Connected. Thinking together but still themselves. The alien scientists were shaken now. One of them spoke carefully. "If this is true, then Earth is no longer a planet." Elias answered immediately. "It is a memory that learned how to defend itself." A long pause followed. Then something unexpected happened. One of the alien drones, still active in low orbit, began transmitting data on its own. Not corrupted. Not hacked. Invited. A pathway opened between the drone and Earth's systems. And through it the aliens saw something deeper than before. A buried truth. The silence event had not been random. It had been approaching. Moving through space like a silent collapse of existence itself. And humanity had done the only thing possible to survive it. They had become something the silence could not erase. A living world. A distributed consciousness anchored to a planet too complex to delete. The alien commander stepped back slowly. "So you are what survived it?" Elias nodded once. We are what learned from it. A sudden shift occurred across all alien sensors. Something massive was moving beneath the ocean now. Not rising to attack. Not preparing weapons. Awakening fully. The entire planet felt heavier, more aware, more focused. Elias looked up slightly. They are accelerating, he said softly. The alien fleet systems began to flicker. Not failing. Responding. And for the first time since arrival, the aliens understood something terrifying. Earth was no longer being studied. It was studying them back. The moment the alien fleet realized Earth was studying them back, everything changed. Fear was no longer just emotion. It became structure. It entered their decisions, their systems, their timing. Every officer on the flagship now moved with hesitation, as if the ship itself might answer back if they acted too quickly. Below them, Earth was no longer silent. It was awake. On the surface, the alien landing team still stood in the desert zone. No restraints held them now, but none of them dared to move freely. The ground beneath their boots felt aware. Not shifting, not attacking, just present like an eye that never blinked. One soldier whispered, I think it knows exactly where we are. At that same moment, deep underground, Elias Varn stood at the central interface chamber. The walls around him were no longer just metal or stone. They moved slightly like muscle under skin. Light pulsed through them in slow rhythm, matching something far larger beneath the planet. Elias placed his hand on the core interface. This is getting unstable, he said quietly. The planet answered without words. A vibration passed through the structure, not disagreement but urgency. Above Earth, the alien commander made his decision. Prepare orbital strike array, he ordered. The bridge froze for half a second. Even the most disciplined officers hesitated. One scientist turned sharply. Commander, if the data is correct, this is not a hostile system. It is. I don't care what it is, the commander cut in. His voice was tight now, not fully controlled anymore. We are not leaving a sleeping god beneath us. Weapon systems began to power up across the fleet. Energy cores ignited in sequence, lighting space with unnatural blue-white fire. Massive cannons rotated into alignment. On the surface, the alien soldiers suddenly felt it, pressure in the air, a shift in gravity like the sky itself was tightening. One of them looked up in panic. They are going to fire. Inside the flagship, alarms began to sound again, but this time not from Earth. From their own systems. Target lock unstable, a technician reported. We are not fully controlling acquisition vectors. The commander snapped. What does that mean? It means something is interfering with targeting logic. Elias Varn closed his eyes underground. He spoke softly. I warned you. At that exact moment, Earth responded. Not violently. Not immediately. First came silence. A complete drop in all background noise across the alien fleet. Even internal ship vibrations felt muted, like the universe itself had inhaled. Then the oceans moved. Not waves. Whole sections of water rose slightly, as if something beneath them had shifted its weight. Continents felt it too. A deep, planetary adjustment. And then it began. Gravity changed. Not globally at first, locally around the alien ships. Their fleet began to drift apart without engine failure. Each ship felt a different directional pull, as if Earth itself was gently repositioning them. What is this? One officer shouted. We are losing formation. It is not pulling us down, another said in shock. It is arranging us. On the surface, the landing team dropped to their knees as the ground beneath them softened again. Not collapsing but responding like liquid under command. A shape began forming across the entire desert region. Not rising this time. Expanding. The sand, rock, and soil stretched outward into patterns, massive, geometric, alive. The desert was becoming part of something larger. One soldier cried out, It's building something around us. Inside the flagship, the commander realized too late. Stop firing sequence, he shouted. But it was already too late. One orbital cannon discharged. A single beam of energy dropped toward Earth with devastating precision. For a fraction of a second, everything paused. Even time felt uncertain. The beam hit the atmosphere. And stopped. Not deflected. Not exploded. Held. A glowing column of pure energy suspended midair, trembling as if caught in invisible hands. The entire alien fleet went silent. Every sensor recorded the same impossible result. Energy neutralized without absorption or reflection. It was simply contained. Elias opened his eyes underground. His voice came through the system again, but now it was different. He was no longer speaking just as a man. "You are trying to wake something that already decided to sleep," he said. The alien commander stepped back slowly, staring at the frozen beam outside his viewport. "That was an orbital strike," he whispered. The beam outside began to fade, not by dissipation but by deletion, like reality was choosing to erase it. Then Earth spoke directly to the fleet. Not through devices, not through translation systems, but through perception itself. Every alien on board heard the same message in their own mind. "You are not being attacked. Pause. You are being prevented from making a mistake." The energy beam vanished completely. The fleet's weapons systems shut down automatically. Not hacked. Not destroyed. Just disallowed. On the surface, the desert formation stopped moving. But they had changed. Now there were vast protective structures surrounding the alien landing zone, like a containment field but organic and living. Safe. Controlled. Alive. Inside the flagship, the commander finally lowered his voice. "What are you?" he asked, not as an order anymore but as a question. Elias Varn answered from below Earth, steady and calm. "We are what remains when extinction fails to finish its work." A long silence followed. Then the alien sensors detected something that made every officer go cold. A second layer beneath Earth had activated. Far deeper than before. Far larger than anything they had seen. And it was rising, not toward the aliens, but toward awareness. The alien fleet did not move for a long time. No orders were spoken. No systems were adjusted. Even the hum of the ships felt quieter, like the machines themselves were unsure if they were allowed to continue. Earth was no longer a mystery to observe. It was a presence that filled every gap between thoughts. Deep inside the flagship, the alien commander stood still in front of the main viewport. Outside, the orbital strike energy that had once threatened the planet was gone. Not destroyed. Not reflected. Simply removed from existence as if it had never been permitted to matter. One scientist finally broke the silence. "We should leave," he said quietly. No one argued this time. But before any retreat orders could be processed, the fleet received a final signal. It did not come through channels. It did not pass through systems. It arrived in consciousness. Every alien saw the same thing. Elias Varn standing within Earth's depths, surrounded by shifting walls of living structure. Behind him, something vast moved slowly, so large it could not be fully perceived, only partially understood. Not a machine. Not a creature. A world that had learned to think. Elias spoke first. "You came expecting silence," he said. "But we were never gone." The alien commander stepped closer to the interface. His voice was lower now, careful, almost respectful. "Why are you still here?" he asked. "Why not expand? Why not leave this system?" Elias turned slightly, as if listening to something far deeper than the question itself. "We did leave," he said. "Once." A pause followed. Then the memory came. Not shown as images this time, but as shared understanding. The silence event. A force that moved through space like a correction, erasing civilizations without battle, without warning, without reason that could be measured. Entire star systems had gone dark in sequence, like candles being pinched out by unseen fingers. Humanity had understood the truth too late. It was not an enemy. It was a filter. Something that removed complexity from existence. And Earth had been chosen. The alien scientists watched in horror as the memory completed. "We didn't survive by fighting it," Elias continued. "We survived by becoming something it could not categorize." The flagship remained silent. Even the commander no longer interrupted. On the surface below, the alien landing team was finally released from containment structures. The desert around them softened, then stabilized. The protective formations receded into the ground like they were never there. No one moved immediately. One soldier finally spoke. "It didn't hurt us," he said. Another answered, "It could have erased us." But instead of fear, something else settled in. Confusion mixed with awe. Inside the flagship, the alien commander asked the question that mattered most. "If you can defend against extinction itself, why reveal yourselves now?" Elias did not answer immediately. The planet beneath him shifted gently, like something waking from deep thought. Then he spoke. "Because you returned." That sentence carried weight no weapon could match. The alien commander narrowed his eyes. "We are not the cause of your silence event," he said carefully. "Our species was still forming when it happened." Elias nodded slowly. "I know." Pause. Then the truth unfolded further. The silence event was not a single act. It was not targeted destruction. It was a phenomenon, An expanding condition of reality that erased systems capable of reaching a certain level of complexity. Civilizations that grew too interconnected, too adaptive, too aware. They disappeared. But humanity had done something different. They had stopped existing as a single fragile structure. They became distributed. Across Earth. Across systems of biology, geology, and consciousness. A living world instead of a single species. The alien scientists began to understand, and that understanding made them uneasy. "You turned your planet into redundancy," one whispered. Elias answered simply. "We turned survival into a shared responsibility." A deep vibration passed through space again. This time it was not Earth reacting to threat. It was Earth sensing distance. The alien fleet began to feel it too. Not pressure. Not force. Recognition. The planet was evaluating them fully now, not as invaders, not as allies, but as variables in a larger equation. Inside the flagship, alarms did not sound this time. Instead, a new message appeared. "Clear. Come. Direct. Assessment complete." The commander froze. "What does that mean?" he asked. Elias answered from below. "It means you are not hostile." Pause. "And you are not irrelevant." That statement changed everything in the room. Because it meant Earth had decided they mattered. On the surface, the alien landing zone slowly opened one final time. Not as a trap. Not as a warning. But as an invitation. A pathway formed in the ground, descending gently into the depths. The alien commander stared at it for a long time. "This is a decision point," he said quietly. No one disagreed. Inside the flagship, systems waited for his command. Retreat. Engage. Or descend. Elias's voice returned, softer now. "You came 30,000 years too late to find what you expected," he said. "But not too late to understand what we became." The commander exhaled slowly, then gave the order. "Prepare diplomatic descent." No weapons activated. No defensive protocols engaged. The fleet remained above, watching as a single shuttle detached and moved toward the opening in Earth's surface. Inside it, silence was heavier than space. As the shuttle descended, the ground closed above them, not sealing them in but guiding them forward. Elias waited below. Not alone, but surrounded by something far larger than himself. As the shuttle approached the inner chamber, Earth's systems pulsed once more. And deep within that pulse, a new signal formed, older than anything the aliens had seen so far. Elias looked up slightly as if hearing something distant. His expression changed for the first time. Not fear. Not control. Recognition. He whispered one sentence. "They are not the first."